Okay, so today we're going somewhere a little different. We're heading to the small northern Italian town of Ivrea for their annual carnival. Now, when you hear carnival, you're probably thinking parades, floats, maybe some candy, right? Well, think again. This is a 3-day, full on medieval battle, and the weapon of choice? Oranges. Yeah, oranges. So let's just jump right into the square and try to figure out what on earth is going on. So just try to picture it. You're standing in this beautiful historic town square, but it's not filled with tourists taking pictures. No, it's packed with thousands of people locked in this combat. The air is just thick with the smell of citrus and, pure adrenaline. And the ground, it's literally a slick, pulpy carpet of orange mush. It is total chaos. It's incredibly intense, and honestly, it's unlike anything else you'll see in the world. And suddenly, you're right in the middle of it. Out of absolutely nowhere, bam, a flash of orange and you get hit, hard, right in the chest. It completely knocks the wind out of you. You stumble backwards and you land in a pile of what I can only describe as orange goo. You touch your head, your heart is racing. You've just been assaulted with fruit. And you have absolutely no idea why. That initial shock is it's overwhelming. You're scrambling, trying to get your bearings, trying to figure out the rules of this completely bizarre, violent game you've just been thrown into. Okay, so you manage to get back on your feet and your senses are just on fire. First, there's the shock, right? Then this wave of relief, maybe you're okay. But then you look down at your hand and you see blood. And that smell, oh man, it is everywhere. It's this sharp, sweet and sour stench of orange pulp, all mixed in with horse manure from these giant carriages that are just thundering past you. So the big question is, how do you survive this citrus onslaught? Well, the key, the one single thing that separates the spectators from the targets, it's all about what's on your head. It's called the Barretto Frigio, and you see it everywhere, this red kind of sock-shaped hat. It's basically your shield. There are public notices plastered all over the place, basically ordering everyone, especially tourists, to wear one. Because if you don't, well, you're considered a fair target for what the town calls, and I love this, gentle and moderate orange throwing. Trust me, it doesn't feel very gentle. The message is simple. You want to stay a spectator? You have to wear the hat. And look, this isn't just some random party hat. It's a really powerful symbol of freedom, and it has these incredibly deep historical roots. We're talking Roman times, when it was worn by freed slaves to show off their new status. Then, fast forward a few centuries to the Middle Ages, and it becomes the banner for peasants who are rising up against their tyrannical feudal lords. So when you put on that little red hat, you're not just protecting your head. You're tapping into this long, powerful story of rebellion. Okay, so you've got your hat on, you're safe. For now. But who are all these people actually fighting? Let's break down the two sides of this epic food fight. All right, so on one side, you've got the Arancieri. That literally means the orange throwers. These are 9 different teams, all on foot, and they represent the common people in their historic fight for freedom. And on the other side, they're the ones representing the feudal lords' guards. You can't miss them. They're riding in these big horse-drawn carriages, and they're all decked out in padded costumes and these tough leather helmets. And you can really see the stark difference here. Down on the ground, you have the Arancieri fighting with just raw passion. I mean, look at their faces, caked in orange pulp, with zero protection. Then, up on the carts, you see their opponents, basically armored up, elevated, hurling oranges back down into the crowd. It really is a classic David versus Goliath setup, right? There's a real rhythm to this whole fight. It's not just random chaos. First, the Arancieri load up on ammo from these huge crates of oranges. Then, as a cart rumbles into their territory, they just unleash this furious barrage. The cart grinds to a halt, the battle rages for a few minutes, and then, suddenly, it just explodes away. And the Arancieri give one last chase, hurling their final oranges and screaming their team's war cries. Then, they reload and they wait for the next cart. It's a cycle. I mean, this all seems unbelievably intense, maybe even a little dangerous. So why? Why do thousands of people do this year after year? Well, it turns out it's about way more than just reenacting history. It's about catharsis. Let me introduce you to Sylvia. When we meet her, she's sipping some mulled wine and pressing a cold orange to a fresh cut on her eye. And yet, listen to what she says. This is the moment we wait for all the year. I think carnival is good for our psychological health. I can let it all out. For her, these 3 days are a release valve. It's a way to let go of all the frustrations that build up over the year. It's how she feels refreshed. And she's not kidding herself about the risks. I mean, broken noses, black eyes, they're pretty common. Sylvia herself has a nice little orange cut right there, but she's perfectly happy to have a shiner the next day. For her, that psychological release is totally worth the physical price. But then you have people like Massey. He's a member of the Mort Day team, that's the death team. And this guy has absolutely zero patience for half measures. While you have volunteers telling people to stay behind these big protective nets, Massey says, forget the nets. If you want to live the carnival, you have to be in the middle of the battle. For him, you can't be a spectator. You have to be in it, risking the hurt, because that's the only way to really live it. And this really brings us to the ultimate choice that everyone in Ivrea faces. After you've seen the chaos, after you understand the history and you feel that passion in the air, what do you do? Do you stay safe or do you join the fight? And I have to tell you, I was faced with this exact decision. Massey from the death team, he saw the curiosity in my eyes and he made the offer directly. He just looks at me and says, come on, throw your red hat away and come with me. It's this incredible invitation to stop being an observer and become a participant, to give up that symbol of protection and just completely embrace the chaos. And after everything, after getting hit, after feeling that incredible energy and finally understanding what it all means, I made my choice. I declined. I kept my red hat on. I chose to remain a witness to this unbelievable, messy, beautiful tradition. And so that really leaves us with a final question, a question for you. After seeing what this is all about, the history, the passion, the catharsis, the risk, what would you do? Would you stand safely on the sidelines, or would you take off that red hat and join the battle?
Think I've been here before. I know that I must have met you in a past life. Got my heart on the floor. Go slow. Keep me falling for you all night. Tell me now,